my name is Monrit. I'm a third-year civil engineering student here at UBC. Before I get started, I'll talk a little bit about myself. Just kind of want to know where all of you are at. So, which grades do you have in your room? I'm just shut some out. Which grade are you in? 9. What about you? 8? 10? 11. So it could be earlier. 8, 9, 10, 11. So full range from high school. Which high school do you guys from? Close to here? Are you guys close to UBC? Are you guys familiar with the No? Other end of town? Where's that? West. Where else? Where are you guys from? West. Burnaby. Okay, so you guys familiar with UBC at all? Is this your first time here? No. You guys have been here? You know what it's all about. Okay. So a little about me. I went to school in Clayton Heights. It's in Cloverdale. So it's in Surrey, at the Langley end of it, and that's kind of where I've grown up, in Cloverdale my whole life. I grew up actually on acreage. So it's kind of, I just call it my little fruit farm. I grew up there. I think it's kind of what stems my love for nature and being outdoors. I grew up on, like I said, a beach property. We had a lot of fresh fruit trees, and that's just, it kind of became a big part of me being outdoors and just loving and taking care of the environment. This quote I just wanted to put up, it's really, it's kind of, it fits really well with me. Families are an important thing, it's everything for me. My family and my friends are kind of a priority for me always. And I know, like she said, engineering is a difficult program, but I think I like to balance it with my family and friends pretty well. And this, for those of you who are familiar with it, is actually from Rose Gardens here at UBC. I took it last week. It's kind of my place, my calm place to go when I like to de-stress from everything. It's my favorite place on campus. I think the view is just amazing, and I'm in love with UBC, the campus life. So just thought I'd put that up there, so it wouldn't be justice to talk about ourselves about it. And UBC. So I'm a third-year civil engineering student. I've been at the university for 3 years. I just finished half of my third year, and I'm going to the other half next in September. In the co-op program, so it kind of got divided up a little bit. I'll talk about more about that later, but I just wanted to talk about travel a little bit. I have been fortunate to travel to some beautiful places around the world, and I think a lot of that kind of is where my passion for civil engineering stemmed from. Whenever I would go to different places like Hawaii or London or India, what really stood out for me was the architecture and the environment. What did they take care of in the cities that they were living in? What did they take pride in? What stood out for them? Why was the architecture at the Taj Mahal so important? And these were kind of things that, you know, when I was younger, I did want to go into architecture. The creativity of buildings and design was really important, and I was always intrigued and interested in it. Total nerd about all that stuff. But some of the big questions that kind of came up to me when I would look at these things would be like, why do they take care of the way things they do in different parts of the world? Why does Anama Bay in Hawaii? Why do they take care of that environment and maybe not down the road take care of another one? Why are certain things important? And what values did it have in different parts of the world, and how they decide on what they're going to take care of? So that's kind of what I was thinking of when I was places. So when I go in high school, so while I was in high school, I was very involved with volunteering. I was part of a club in high school called Project People, and we were affiliated with Free the Children. That was a big part of my 5 years at high school. We would raise money for clean water wells in Africa and building schools. So it was a lot of what I did for those 5 years. And hopefully, like most of you, math and physics were by far my favorite subjects. Like I said before, total nerd about that kind of stuff. And I also volunteered with Gearing Up here at UBC. So the Gearing Up Engineering and Science Camp is for youth. I think they go up until, I actually don't know the oldest grade, but I volunteered with them when I was in grade 11. I just kind of wanted to see what campus was all about, and it was a good opportunity to meet other people that were in engineering at the time to see what it would be like. It's kind of what I did in high school. And okay, so when I decided to switch from architecture to civil engineering, some of the questions that were in my mind were, how do we decide the limits of the tallest building? So this is the Burj Khalifa. So does anyone think of something you might think of when you're designing the tallest building? What What else is something I might not think of? Yeah. Usage. So like how much of the building are we going to use?
How much of it will be used for what purpose? And then also a matter of safety, because if say a fire starts in the 50th floor, how is everyone who's on the 51st floor and above going to get out?
Right. That's really important. Yeah. Were you going to say something? Safety and fire escape. Right. How sustainable are the materials? So sustainable, it means kind of like, you know, how long will they last for? How safe is it?
Structural integrity for a better situation.
Yeah, so different levels of the building will probably have different structural capabilities. The bottom floor would have to be a good foundation. Whereas the top one just needs to stand up, really. So yeah, those are all really good things. This was one of something that just is kind of cool. You know, how much time, so I'm not going to go through everything. But okay, so I am in civil engineering. Thought I'd just show some of the projects that I've been fortunate to be a part of. So this was a wooden truss bridge that we fabricated in my second year. We were just kind of learning about wooden structures and how they take forces and such. So that was one of the projects. This was another one. We were designing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the intersection. It's West 41st Avenue and County Street where Oak Ridge Mall is. So we were designing a pedestrian overpass. And this project was really important because we did it in second year, and some things that I don't think I thought of when I was walking around and seeing civil engineering projects was how much you have to think about sustainability. So like, I think someone mentioned that. But that comes with environmental sustainability, social sustainability, economical or financial sustainability. I think this project really highlighted all those things for me. So how is the environment important in projects like this? How is the public affected when we're putting a pedestrian overpass over an entire intersection? So civil engineering wasn't just about the design, and that's kind of what I liked about it. Okay, so I am also part of the co-op program here at UBC. For my last co-op term, which is 8 months, I worked with Ocean Pipe. It's a materials company here in UBC, and they do concrete products for underground concrete products. So it's like pipe and manholes underground. That's kind of what I was doing for 8 months. I was doing technical drawings for them. And also along with work, I'm volunteering with W West. It's an organization here on campus that promotes engineering and science. And I also joined the UBC seismic design team this year. We designed a scale model of a high-rise building to be tested under seismic loads. Does anyone know what seismic loads are? What does seismic mean? What is it to do with?
Or related to an earthquake.
It's related to earthquakes, right? So seismic loads would be different magnitudes of an earthquake. So you're pretty much designing a building to withstand an earthquake. So that's kind of what that project was. And so in my third year in civil engineering now, I've taken quite a few technical courses, and one of them related to today's topic was environmental impact studies. And I think a big part of environmental engineering in civil engineering is water treatment and where we get our clean water from. So does anyone know, or in West, or does anyone know where you guys get your clean water from? When you turn your tap on, you know about water treatment from?
I believe that there is a treatment plant somewhere on CN.
On CN?
I think.
Well, there are. We have a lot of treatment plants. So I've been from a couple places. Does anyone else know? When you turn your tap on, where the water's coming from? Any of the local ones in Vancouver, in the Lower Mainland now. Okay, so there's 3 main watersheds in the Lower Mainland, and that's Capilano, Seymour, and there's one in Coquitlam. And I think that's something I didn't think about when I was younger, is when I turned my tap on, why is my water clean, or where is it coming from? That's a really big part of environmental engineering in the civil engineering program. So that's kind of what I was studying a lot for the past 4 months. And also wastewater treatment. And I don't think that's another thing to think about, is when the water goes through the drain, or when we flush the toilet, how is that water treated, and where does that water really go? Or where is it discharged, and who sets the limitations or the legal requirements of that water, or the treated water? So that's kind of what I was doing in civil engineering. It's a little bit of the environmental side of it. But I'm just going to wrap up and ask if you have questions. I know we're going to short for time. But is anyone interested in civil engineering here? Yeah, kind of. Has anyone thought of environmental engineering? Okay, what did you think it was before?
It was mainly like sort of like working as a looking for in society, like considering other factors besides just like the original part, I guess.
Right. So thinking about the public and how everyone else is affected by it. Yeah, that is a really important part of, I think, all engineering projects. But yeah, are we good for questions still? Or?